I've lived in St Gennyf all my life. St Gennyf is a small village about 11 miles from Cardiff. These days there's lack of business compared to what it used to be like years ago when it was a thriving mining community. A lot of the coal came from St Gennyf, was sent to Cardiff and helped it become a thriving city of industry.
Well, my connection with the explosion in St Gennyf is through my grandmother, who lived in Alexandra Terrace. She had 3 sons working in the colliery. My father, his 2 brothers. And the youngest son, his brother was 14, and he was one of 8 14-year-olds that were killed in the colliery that day. And out of that 8, there was one young lad who was underground for the first time. So that is very tragic. It is tragic for any age group to die under those circumstances, but I think it adds to the tragedy in such a young age. So my uncle, of course it would be, Alfred Rees Tudor, he was the one that was found. He was found, they used to call them their butties, and the collier that looked after, or that was the collier to my uncle, he was lodging with my grandmother. So my grandmother had 3 sons and a lodger working in that colliery, and it was the lodger and my uncle Alfred Tudor that were killed that day. So the family never spoke about it really, but through doing this today now, I found that I'm able to trace the grave of my uncle, and I'll be following this up now after this interview today. The only contact I have, the visual contact I have, is his death certificate, which I had a copy of from the registrar. So it's been very interesting, Charlene, to come here this morning and to tell you all about my experiences with the St Gennyf explosion.
The person killed tragically in the disaster was my great-grandfather, Evan Hopkin James, and he was involved in both disasters in 1900 and then lost his life in the 1913 disaster. In 1900, following the first disaster, a committee was established to raise funds for those families who were grief-stricken. That committee still exists today, and I'm his great-grandson, and I'm a member of that St Gennyf Disaster Memorial Committee, and we raise funds and give the money to young people who are studying from the Tudor, St Gennyf and Pendry area. The disaster had an extremely terrible impact on this valley, and quite naturally many families have chosen to forget. But one of the more interesting and terribly poignant stories that's passed down through my family is that when my great-grandfather, was killed in the explosion, my grandfather and his mother had to collect the body from the disaster site and carry the dead body home in the family tin bath. If you could imagine that scene of a 13-year-old boy along with his mother carrying his dead father in the family tin bath in order that they could take him to the house to clean his body up and then take the body to the temporary morgue which was set up. A terribly poignant moment in any young boy's life, and it's the only story that my grandfather ever really told me about.
These are just 2 of the families that were affected by the disaster. This made me think, was coal worth it when all these lives were lost?